find that out. Twice.
I'd like to call the meeting of the Town Council of North Branford, Connecticut to order on Tuesday, April 16th at 6:38. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Angeloni.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Present.
Councilor Ableton.
Here.
Councilor Diamond. Here. Councilor Bode.
Here.
Councilor Miller.
Here.
Councilor Palladino.
Here.
And Councilor Zampano.
Here. Nicely done.
Just in time.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is minutes of the previous meetings. Do I hear a motion to approve the April 26th budget workshop minutes?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next one is April 2nd, 2024, WPCA and Town Council meeting at 6:30.
Motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The next one is April 2nd, 2024, budget hearing fiscal 24-25 at 7:30 p.m.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Next one is April 4th, 2024, special meeting of Town Council and Police Commission at 5:30.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Next one is April 4th, 2024, budget workshop at 6:30.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Abstain? I should have a few more abstentions here. Walt should be an abstention. And,
Nope.
No,
I was
Jeff
here
was
for
there.
that one. I'm the next one. The 9th.
okay. Next one is April 9th, 2024, budget workshop.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstained.
Abstain.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, now on to the regular town council meeting. First one is community events and presentations. And we have two proclamations, so I will read the first one here. First proclamation is for Earth Day. Whereas the first Earth Day was celebrated on April 22nd, 1970, with the goal of inspiring environmental awareness and encouraging the conservation, protection, and appreciation of our nation's natural resources. And whereas it is the responsibility of each of us to safeguard the environment by recognizing that all human life depends upon the earth and upon one another for our mutual existence, well-being, and development. And whereas the steps we can take to protect and preserve our natural environment through education, partnerships, and positive actions should be encouraged in the town of North Branford. And whereas the citizens of the town of North Branford are committed not only to the protection and preservation of our environment, but also to the restoration of ecosystems and habitat. And whereas the town of North Branford citizens, staff, and elected officials are working closely with federal, state, and local governments and with non-governmental organizations to develop and implement regulations and ordinances specifically designed to preserve and improve the town of North Branford's fragile ecosystems and the quality of life therein. And whereas the town of North Branford proudly recognizes all who participate in Earth Day for their dedication to taking a proactive role in shaping the future of our environment and in protecting the town of North Branford's precious natural resources. Now therefore, we, the Town Council of the town of North Branford, Connecticut, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2024 as Earth Day in the town of North Branford, and urge all of our citizens to be mindful of local, state, and national laws which protect our environment, and to join in efforts to preserve the beauty of wonder of the lands, skies, and water of the earth in all its diversity. Dated the 16th day of April 2024, and authorized by my signature affixed, Rosemary Angeloni, Mayor.
Yes, thank you. Bill Savastano of the Recycling Committee. This is our chairperson, Mary Bigelow, and we're here tonight to promote Earth Day. It'll be this Saturday at Wall Field. The last few years we've been doing it in conjunction with Little League opening day. We have a captured crowd that morning. As soon as the ceremony is over, there'll be an announcement asking the people to come by and see us, answer any questions they have. We're gonna have some hot coffee there, and we're gonna give 6 packs of, as we did the last couple of years, little 6 packs of sunflower seeds for a starter to take home. It's the first 100 people have sunflowers. So invite the council, as they did in the past, to stop by and see what we're doing. Mary, you wanna say something?
Yes, Bill has worked very hard on this, and I hope to see every one of you there.
Thank you. Let's do a photo. Let's go up there and do a photo.
Oh.
You want to get everybody else behind you again like the last one, or no? Guys, stand up like behind them on the same picture. That's beautiful. Ready? Oh, man, I can't see. Craig, I can't see you.
Nice try.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Jeff says he's going to. Oh, yeah, right. We gotta cut your vision down. Sorry. They have a mouse that's running on a wheel. We sold off the disco lights. Time to do it.
Okay. Our next proclamation is for National Therapy Animal Day. There are thousands of pet partner therapy animals teams serving in communities across the United States. And whereas Pet Partners has designated April 30th as National Therapy Animal Day, and whereas scientific research shows that interacting with therapy animals can reduce stress, relieve depression, slow heart rate, lower blood pressure, and strengthen the immune system. And whereas therapy animal teams in the town of North Branford play an essential role in improving human health and well-being through the human-animal bond. And whereas therapy animal teams interact with a variety of people in our community, including veterans, seniors, patients, students, and those approaching end of life. And whereas these exceptional therapy animals who partner with their human companions bring comfort and healing to those in need. And whereas we encourage more pet owners to consider becoming pet partners, volunteers to help our community by creating greater access to meaningful therapy animal visits. Now therefore, we, the Town Council of the town of North Branford, do hereby proclaim April 30th, 2024 as National Therapy Animal Day in the town of North Branford, and encourage our citizens to celebrate our therapy animals and their human handlers. Further, I publicly salute the service of therapy animal teams in our community and in communities across the nation. dated the 16th day of April 2024 and authorized by my signature affixed hereto, Rosemary Angeloni, Mayor. And I believe we have a therapy dog here. We could have used them at our last several sessions. Stress. And this is Rose Lynch. What's your dog? Charlie.
Charlie. That's like a nice dog. How old is Charlie? Oh.
But can I sit with the dog?
Nah, it's okay. You getting up? Okay.
Can I
I'm
sit
on
with
view
Charlie?
with Charlie.
I have a golden retriever, so I'm like Charlie. This will get.
Captain Bill probably would qualify for that.
Charlie.
You're right. What kind of dog you have?
Oh, a little Frenchie.
Oh, do you? Those are great.
Oh, that Toby.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, he's a lot of therapy for that.
You need therapy, right?
Thank you for bringing Charlie.
Bye, Charlie.
Bye, Charlie.
Charlie kind of looks like a polar bear.
They're- Is it terrible?
Charlie can stay. He's probably better behaved than half our people.
Well, you already so, Jeff.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
My favorite dog.
I like that.
Does anyone else have anything under community events and presentations? I see the Totucket Historical Society is here, so they must have something to tell us. So come on up to the microphone and
Do I need to give my information? Mary Ellen DeLella, co-president of the Historical Society, Totucket. You can introduce yourself.
Donna Summers, also co-president of Totucket Historical Society. We both live on Old Post Road in different houses.
So you say.
But we do shout and we hear each other from afar. Anyway, first of all, we would like to thank you for the recent ARPA fund check that we're not sure we received yet, but we're waiting by the post office window and we're going to check tomorrow. But thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And that was for general funds. And now back to the Little Red Schoolhouse. Remember that structure on Old Post Road, everyone, right near the library? Well, I received a call a few weeks ago from Andy Bizzuto, who is interested in having an event for us. So we're having it. And it's going to be the Kentucky Derby. And that's why we have ducks. And all the proceeds will go to the Little Red Schoolhouse. The Derby is going to be on May 4th from 4 o'clock on. May 4th at 3 o'clock p.m. I get too excited. You know, I have a therapy duck with me, so I'll be fine. Anyway, and so he's going to have a cookout that people can participate in. There are prizes. You can buy a duck for $10 and possibly get a $100 gift certificate. $100 ducks, a dinner for $4 or $400, and businesses can sponsor for $500 a duck and have a happy hour for your company. So there may be additional prizes, and it's going to be fun. You can wear a hat, you can decorate, you can have a little fun. You can have a little fun. So please join us. I will see it. I will give you these flyers. You have to call Mill Pond or do whatever.
so what's the premise of the ducks? So what's going to happen with the ducks? Why don't you?
So the ducks are going to swim because ducks swim, guys.
Oh, should we run this by wetlands?
I know. We'll catch our ducks.
Okay.
Big net.
No
Don't
peep.
worry. Don't worry. We're very careful. We preserve. We don't, you know. And so each duck will have a number. So for example, if Thomas Sampano, for example, has a $100 duck, he will have a number and he will watch his little duck go down the stream. and hopefully it will come out first. And then you will be dining in Mill Pond. And
No PED ducks, Tom.
You're going to go for the $500 one. And you're going to have all your friends join you for a gathering. So I look
I
forward
was just
to
saying,
that.
Tom, I would do the 500, but nobody would show up. So.
Really? I'll drive. Anyway, we hope that you will participate.
You work from home, it's just a happy hour for you.
Right. That's right. Remind me, I don't work.
So you can go on the Mill Pond website and see this. There's a little QR code scan
Yes.
that you can make reservations on, or you can call Mill Pond.
Is there regulation size ducks?
And it's a patio party, just so everybody knows.
I ordered
It's
something
outside.
from Amazon. I was going to bring them tonight. They look like this.
Minstrel ducks.
And there may be some hat decorating for Mary Ellen, who likes crafts.
Different ducks.
Fun. I mean, we are fun for the big, No, I'm sorry. The teacher in me comes out. Sorry, I picked you.
And May the 4th be with you.
Most of my company will spend
And wear hats. We love hats. We really do love hats. So decorate them, say you were an electrician, you can put electricity on your head.
Great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a rain date, or because it's ducks, it's okay? No rain date,
So
okay.
are they going to do this on the river?
They are, we are going to do this on the river, and there will be a picnic on the patio.
That's nice.
You can buy a ticket for the picnic lunch.
We have to
And
respect the
children
duck.
under 8, I believe, are free. They can, because they don't eat all that much. And then you can go inside for the actual Kentucky Derby. If you like.
Children 8 and up are 14.
Oh, well, 7 and under.
Okay. All right. So the next item on the agenda is finalization of the fiscal 24-25 operating budget. But unfortunately, we cannot finalize tonight. We are going to take some actions on things. The first item on the agenda is solar credit allocations. And Anthony, do you want to just give us an update on where we stand with this?
Yeah, the invoices from the UI arrived at 5 after 4 today. So we didn't even print them off yet, to be honest with you, to look at them and to kind of analyze where we are between the town and Board of Ed as far as the credits go. If you recall, when we started the solar project 2 years ago, we had to give the third party that owns and runs the field access to our accounts at UI so they can determine how many kilowatt hours we use, which they then use to bill us for 11.95 cents per kilowatt hour. They need access to get that information. And in the eyes of UI, you can't have multiple people having access to your account. So we rescinded that. Mike and I were on the phone yesterday with our guy from UI. And, you know, I was kind of getting, not a runaround, but a delayed action. And then Mike intervened, and suddenly we got statements. So we're hoping to have an answer, a number for you guys as to what the actual solar credits are to date and the bills. So on our side, as well as the Board of Ed side, the electricity accounts are out of whack, because in their case, they haven't gotten a bill for Jerome Harrison or the auditorium for this fiscal year at all. So that's what the bills we got today. We got our bills, they got their bills. We're going to analyze them and see what the deal is. We have the Altus people who have been very patient. They were owed money back from last December of 22, and we haven't paid them. Board of Ed paid them, I think, 1 or 2 months, but they're behind on them as well. So bottom line is, I don't have an answer for you tonight because, again, the bills just came in at 5 after 4 today from the UI. So I guess it's table it until next week or whenever you guys want to.
Well, we have to finalize by next Tuesday.
Okay.
So, unless we meet earlier, but I mean, if you just got them today, I don't know how soon you would have results. So on the UI bills, are there actually credits that are shown on the, but,
There's the UI charge and then the solar credit on the bottom. So that there's Part A, Part B, and then Part C is the Altus bill.
which is the solar company?
Exactly. So each account now will have 3 items, basically. You'll have the electricity bill from UI, you'll have the solar credit identified, and you'll have the Altus bill. So that if you look at it 5 years from now and say, what did we actually derive from that solar field? You'd be able to look at those accounts and identify them specifically. Versus having it all blended into one electricity account, you'll never know 5 years from now, was it a good deal, bad deal? How much did we actually gain from the whole solar project? So I created sub-accounts in the departments that have UI accounts, whether it's the library, fire, not public works, police in the old police station, some of our sewer accounts, street lights. So you won't just see electricity, you'll see electricity, which is the UI bill, then you'll see the solar credit account, then you'll see the Altus account, people that run and manage the field.
So are there additional credits besides what shows up on the bill? I mean, is there more credit due to us than what shows on the bill?
I got to look at them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
What's on the bill should capture everything.
Okay,
So I'll make a spreadsheet of everything we got so far, and then kind of tell us where we are, to date, from December of 22 to today, where we are, and we can come up with a number and hopefully put this to bed. But by June 30, my goal is to be in sync so that come July 1, we're 1 month at a time. We get the bill, we get the credit, we get the Altus, all in 1 month, book it in 1 month, and we're clean going forward. So by June 30, 24, hopefully this will all be a memory.
Anthony, so is there an electric bill every month that's paid by all the departments? Or
We have not paid them. We didn't get the bills.
So we haven't paid an electric bill since.
For some accounts, yeah. We get shut off notices, and the guy from UI, Greg, said ignore them, throw them away. I know it's we're working the bugs out of the system. So between us and the Board of Ed, we get shut off notices because we have bills that haven't been paid because we haven't got the bills.
Right.
So we can't pay something without having the bill in our hand, so.
Right.
Why wasn't this a red flag though, when they come, because they've come in over a periodic time, right? I mean, I'm assuming,
Right.
I don't mean to cut you, I apologize.
No, that was my question. I'm
Right.
good. I'm good.
As they came in, we didn't think we
well,
had
they
to.
didn't come in.
They didn't come in. They didn't come in.
So where did-
And this whole thing with the
No,
office.
but we got the shut-off notice, right?
Yeah,
So those came in.
yeah, and we called the guy from UI
Uh-huh.
and said, what's the story? And then it led to the whole thing about, you gave your rights to the bills to Altus. I said, well, we did because at that time they needed access.
And then you called Altus, I'm assuming, to see what the deal was? And they just didn't get back to us?
It's not Altus, it's UI.
So is Altus paying the bill?
It was on first.
No,
No,
Nobody's paying.
nobody's paying. UI hasn't been paid, Altus hasn't been paid.
and nothing's been booked. So right now, all the electric accounts that the solar field
Is on,
is on.
has not
Are
been
kind
paid.
of on hold, really,
Well,
right?
Right.
so the current numbers in the budget are wrong because
Right.
we don't have them. There's nothing in there. So the Board of Ed doesn't have things booked. We don't have things booked. We don't have the credits. Plus, there's also bills for last fiscal year because it went online December of 22. So from December of 22 to June of 23, which we have closed, is part of this bill. So those are gonna have to come into this year.
Oh, what a mess.
It's-
You said some bills have been paid? You said some bills were paid by the Board
Some
of
of,
Ed?
the Board of Ed started paying the Altus bill for December of 22 and January of 23.
So they ended up getting some bills, and they paid them.
We just got the Altus bills. The Altus bills came in play in November of 23. We got an email from these people saying, hey, you owe us $150,000. I'm like, that's interesting. For what? And they said, oh, we have an arrangement with you guys that based on the kilowatt hours, you owe us 11.95 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay. Found the agreement. The agreement is black and white, 11.95. Who are you billing? Well, they had this wrong email address. We never got any bills. So as of November of 23, when this thing came to light, that's when we've been going back and forth between Altus, UI, and then, like I said, as of 5 after 4 today, we got an onslaught of bills from, I think it was 23 into 24.
This isn't a great look. We gotta figure
What kind
this
of
out.
communication was there? Was it face-to-face on the phone or emails?
Emails.
Just emails.
So here we are today, so how are we gonna resolve it?
So I'm gonna take all the bills and come up with a spreadsheet to say, okay, this is what we're gonna charge the library electricity account. We're gonna charge them for the UI piece, we're gonna give them the credit for the UI solar credits, and we're gonna give them the bill for the Alta. So there'll be 3 additional hits. That, like I said, come July 1, that'll be on a monthly basis, boom, boom, boom. But we gotta do a catch-up now to say, from the beginning till today, how much are we gonna charge Lauren at the library?
We just have to expedite it because of the budget.
Yeah, like I said, and that's what.
We
Mike-
don't have to expedite the payment, just
No.
expedite getting it figured out.
Right, that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Is there like an account, if there's an account for electric, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So there's money in that account that's just sitting there, is what
The
you're.
June
there's
30
bud-
money, it
It's
lapsed.
budgeted.
Right, if you look in your budget book, like, take the library, for example. If you look at her electricity account,
She thought she was getting a bargain.
you look
but
at
she
2
had
years
no-
historical information.
The
then you
solar
look at her-
fields were really doing well for her.
Yeah.
Solar's a good thing.
If you look at Look at Jimmy, look at the police.
In fact, Reynolds Beer's house wanted to get her bills because she was getting nothing. Yeah.
So that money is still sitting there,
No, June 30 lapsed.
so
June
that's been
30 of
spent.
23.
23.
So that money's been spent.
No, it's all back to fund balance.
It goes back into the fund
If you
balance.
look at electricity, 25, 18, 32, only spending 15 last year, because it didn't get hit.
Yeah.
So you have an artificial surplus last year, that you're gonna lose this year, you're gonna be over budget this year in electricity, artificially surplus
Is this
from
gonna
last
be
year.
corrected? That's gonna.
Yeah.
It's a large bill.
Okay, so to be continued.
We'd be out of business.
Clarify too.
We'd have no
This
electric.
is- Just so you understand some of the problems that we're dealing with, I mean, it's been a big headache. And part of the reason is that we are the only solar farm property related, one of these in the entire state. So we're breaking ground and we're breaking it with our faces apparently. Because,
First with
you
the
know,
wall.
we're the guinea pigs on this, on how this works. I don't know if anybody's ever gonna end up doing it the same way, maybe not, but that's why all these problems are. There's just no roadmap for it, and it's been a problem since we started, but I think
So
we're.
the solar field in North Haven, up 17, that's not a farm project?
It's not, one where there's a farm involved who is also receiving benefit from it.
So this particular one, Pages,
Right.
Maple
because he
Tree
gave up
Farm.
5 acres, right.
That's how this came about, that it had to be an agriculture municipality conjunction. So Pages is supposed to be getting no bills on electricity. They're supposed to be electric free, which I understand is not the case.
So they've been getting bills?
They have, yes.
Have they been paying?
All right, so another question to ask here for the town is, have we incurred any fines or any additional charges because of our penalty, or being delayed?
No.
Yeah. So no penalties, no increased percentage?
Nope.
There's no adverse effect?
No adverse effect at all.
Okay, we're 100% about that? And that's important because
Any late fees.
if they've screwed this up, not us, then we're gonna go back and ask for credits, right?
We're not gonna pay a penny
Okay,
above what we're supposed to.
okay.
Mike, I'm assuming the answer is yes, I hope it's yes, but on these credits, they're actually showing us on the meter what the meter was last month, what it is this month, and we're not going by what they just send us and say, this is your credit. We actually see it on the meter. There's actually meter readings showing what we get from that solar farm.
Yeah, I'll make copies of the bills for you guys, so you can examine.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next item is revaluation. So this has been a really difficult budget year. You know, the budget that was presented to us was a very high increase in our mill rate, but we are up for revaluation that is in the process. And so I thought it would be a good idea if our town assessor kind of just walked us through and what we can see is going to happen, because this is a year earlier than what we were scheduled. And that's not by our design, that's from the state telling us that we're instead of 5 years, we're at 4 years. So I'm gonna turn the floor over to Dave Ambrose right now.
Good evening. Before I reveal our next year's assessments, I want to briefly discuss the process. Phase 1 will kick off next week when our reval company mails dated notices to our taxpayers. Our taxpayers / homeowners will have an opportunity to identify any data discrepancies that may exist. Phase 2 include inspections. The state, over the past 5 years, has allowed assessors to do hybrid revaluations. A hybrid reval includes a combination of data mailers and inspections. We definitely inspect every property that's sold within the last year. We also will inspect any properties upon any homeowner's request. I paid very close attention to the real estate market over the past 3 years in anticipation of our reval. I thought by now the numbers would revert back to our 2020 levels, but that hasn't happened. And I've been in constant contact with dozens of assessors, appraisers, and I ran my own numbers, obviously, and I could confidently say that I expected at least, the very least, a 30% increase in the grand list. That translates to a $380 million increase. This is my 8th reval, and this is the highest percentage increase I have ever experienced, and that includes my 23 years in New Haven, 5 in Thomaston, and 10 here in North Branford. And I went to look back at the last 3 revals that I was a part of here in North Branford for comparison purposes. In 2010, we experienced a $31 million decrease. In 2015, we experienced a decrease of $34 million. In 2020, we had an increase of $52 million, or 4.14%. Now, I thought that number was pretty hefty. This number is 6 times that amount. Our taxpayers in North Branford are pretty sharp. Yeah, I think they understand what their property values are, so they're not going to be really surprised when they open up that notice next October. In '98, the state reduced the reval cycle from 10 years to 5 years in order to avoid any of these big shifts in property value. Usually it works, but I mean, this is really unprecedented. Massachusetts, for example, revalues every single year to avoid this kind of thing. So, again, it's a $380 million increase in the grand list. It's simple as that. And these numbers are spot on. I mean, we can expect at least a 30% increase.
So can you do an example of a $300,000 home?
Yeah, a $300,000 assessed value.
You're giving them 30%, so you're...
A $300,000 assessment will be like $420 next year.
Okay, that's as an example, so everybody understands.
But I have a question. You say the numbers are spot on, but they didn't do the reval yet.
No, I mean, every town that I know of had at least a 30% increase in values, and not one town experienced any increase under 30%. And I ran numbers myself, and I know we have tons of sales. We have hundreds of sales from 2001 forward, and I can safely say I'm confident.
Okay.
Very confident.
So this is the assessed, which is already, it's at 70% of the appraised value. So this is what you're taxed on. This is
Right, so if you look at the value increase opposed to the assessment increase, it's over a $500 million increase in value. Substantial.
So that $420,000 home that's been assessed, we only pay 70%.
Now that is the assessed.
You want the market value of that property. You would divide that 420 by 0.7. And, people ask me a lot during my time as an assessor. They say, Dave, I'm looking at a huge increase in my assessment. Am I looking at a huge increase in my taxes? And I say, normally or typically, the mill rate is reduced to compensate for any really big increase in assessed value, in theory anyways.
So we've got the perfect storm, basically.
Well, the reassessment of the mill rate is going to be after any type of increase that we have to do due to debt and other increases from this year, but intrinsically it should go down because of the widening of the gap, but
Right.
you're going to pay more no matter how you look at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into the general government budget.
Everybody got quiet.
And so Anthony had, based on our 2 workshops that we had and the increase, most of the motions are for decreases. There are a few increases in items. But this is all stuff that we have talked about either starting at our April 4th meeting and then again at our April 9th meeting. So these are all of these have been discussed at prior meetings and these amounts have been discussed. Actually, I checked with Lisa Valenti, our town clerk, to see if we can group the motions, that we don't necessarily have to go one by one. So we're just gonna do it in groups of 5 to go down here. I'll just read where the fund is coming out of, the department number, the object number, and the decrease amount. And if there's anything, after I read them, if anyone has any questions and doesn't want to have it as part of the group, we can take it out and just vote on the group as we go along. So the first group is from Mayor and Council, out of Fund 1000, Department 4103, object number 51620, a reduction of $3,000. Mayor and Council, Fund number 1000, Department 4103, object number 55500, a reduction of $545. Finance, Fund 1000, Department 4117, object 55990, a reduction of $5,000. Central Services, Fund 1000, Department 4129, 55500, a reduction of $1,500. And Central Services, Fund 1000, Department 4129, object 57200, a reduction of $4,500. Do I have a motion?
Do a motion?
Second.
Motion's been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Marie Councilor Diamond. Any discussion?
Can I just ask, are we sure we're gonna get some free training from Eunice? We are sure of that? That's why we're reducing that training amount?
Anthony has been in touch with them, and there is a line item in the budget also that we pay Munis. There's a $50,000.
Because I think we want to make sure we have that.
Yes, but we've also not had, our training that we have had has not been up to par. And so that was the basis for asking for more training, but not at cost, like they owe it to us.
Okay, I know we need it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next one is Assessor, Fund 1000, Department 4131, Object 53510, a reduction of $1,875. Technology, Fund 1000, Department 4143, line 55990, a reduction of $1,500. Planning Department, Fund 1000, Department 4153, line 55990, a reduction of $1,875. Benefits, Insurance, and Other, Fund 1000, Department 4199, line 52020, a reduction of $20,000. Police, Fund 1000, Department 4201, line 54301, a reduction of $4,400. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next one is Police Department, Fund 1000, Department 4201, line 52300, Retirement. This was supposed to be changed to $137,000 here. This is for a correction in using a, what's it called? Well, it's how they figured the pension between defined benefit and defined contribution, and this is only on overtime wages. So it's a reduction of $137,000. Fire, Fund 1000, Department 4203, line 51620, a reduction of $3,250. Fire, Fund 1000, Department 4203, line 56900, a reduction of $4,500. Fire, Fund 1000, Department 4203, line 54300, a reduction of $5,000. Fire, Fund 1000, Department 4203, line 53200, a reduction of $2,500. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
A motion's been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Diamond. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I abstain.
Okay. Motion carries. Okay, the next is Fire, Fund 1000, Department 4203, line 55990, a reduction of $5,700. Fire Department, Fund 1000, Department 4203, line 57300, a reduction of $5,000. Fire Department, Fund 1000, Department 4203, line 52300, a reduction of $35,060. And Fire Department, Fund 1000, Department 4203, line 57300, a reduction of $35,000. And Ambulance, Fund 1000, Department 4209, line 58910, a reduction of $175,000. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Abelson, seconded by Councilor Palladino. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next is Building Department, Fund 1000, Department 4213, line 55990, a reduction of $8,000. Public Works, Fund 1000, Department 4301, line 56290, a reduction of $37,000. Library, Fund 1000, Department 4501, line 56220, a reduction of $3,000. Library, Fund 1000, Department 4501, line 55990, a reduction of $2,000. Library, Fund 1000, Department 4501, line 56420, a reduction of $5,000. Do I hear a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. The next one, okay, this is also a correction. This is for contingency. This amount should actually be $425,000.
Does she say have our correct version, please?
Well, the one I had in my folder, that's the one I'm using. That's not what's on here. So that's what I'm going by.
So it's the total amount.
So it's 425 now?
It's 425 because in checking, so the $365,000 was the correction in the formula error. And then normally in contingency, we start off at 175,000 a year. And the first big subtraction from that is for the admin increases of 60,000, but that is already figured into the number that Anthony has set aside for contract negotiations. So there was another $60,000 added to that number. So we'll be starting off the year at 115,000 in contingency, just for our regular things, not including contract. So contingency reserve, Fund 1,000, Department 9,800, line 59,510, a reduction of $425,000. Do I hear a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so that takes care of all of our decreases. And now we have several increases. First one
Excuse me,
is,
Rose.
yes,
The total, just to be clear, the total amount of decrease is 1,025,000. 1,027,205?
my sheet doesn't say that, so.
Neither does mine, I just want to be clear.
This one's correct.
So what?
Anthony?
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay, 1,027,000.
95,000 in there, that one above it.
Okay. Just make sure, make it clear.
Right, so what was the total decrease?
1,027,205.
205.
Okay.
Police vehicle one, right? I don't think we did that one yet.
Yeah, no, I just saw that. So there's one other one,
Number 27.
a decrease. This number's not correct either on here.
What is this, the last one, number 27?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's our capital improvements. It's gonna be funded through the operating budget. So this is a decrease of $95,000, and it's for police vehicles that will be funded out of the account that they have their road duty, the funds that they go in for road duty, which Anthony had told us has approximately $190,000 in it.
Right, I thought it was I thought it was 63,250
Right.
when we talked about it. Where did it go to 95?
We're doing basically a car and a half. We're funding out of that account.
Okay, so,
And the other, because on the capital, we had to come up with dollars.
no, we only talked about a car, not a car and a half, so now we're talking about a car and a half. So we
Yeah.
actually originally talked about 63,250.
Right, but he's still getting funding for the two cars.
I know, because he's taking it out of the.
Right.
Right, so.
So
just be clear.
it's helping reduce the mill rate by not funding it.
No, I'm good with it.
Why
I
we're
just-
using the other account. Believe me, we had to look everywhere for to try and get this mill rate down.
A mini.
So it's a reduction of $95,000, and I will tell you that I did have a conversation with the chief prior to all of this happening to make sure that he was comfortable with this, and he was fine with it. He said we could do that. So thank you, Chief Lovelace, for this. So do I hear a motion for a $95,000 reduction?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I abstain.
Abstain. Okay, one abstention. Motion carries. Okay. So increases now. We'll go to Mayor and Council, Fund 1000, line 4103, or Department 4103, line 55990, an increase of $300. Central Services, Fund 1000, Department 4129, line 54301, an increase of $10,000. Public Works, Fund 1000, Department 4301, line 51620, an increase of $3,200. And operating transfers, Fund 1000, Department 9900, line 59020. No, wait a minute, this one is out.
Yeah, we killed that one.
Yes, this is,
We reduced.
yes, no, it's,
Killed the move, yeah.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
part of the motion.
All right.
It's not an increase, so it was just the first three that I read.
Yes.
300, 10,000, and 3,200 in there. So, do I hear a motion? So
It's just the three.
So the increases were mayor and council for $300. It was to correct a correction, error in the contractual thing in our budget book. It was stated incorrectly. Facilities maintenance out of central services, it's $10,000. It's a placeholder. It's for maintenance on the old police building on there. And then the Public Works for $3,200 increase. It's for their part-time laborer, and it's to increase the wage per hour from 16 to 18 because minimum wage will be going up during the budget year, and it will exceed what they originally budgeted.
So the total is 13,500.
13,500, correct.
Yes.
So, motion?
Second.
Okay, now you got it.
Discussion?
Yes. So, actually, this evening, we received, a letter from Mike Downs, thank you, regarding the North Branford Police, Department building, the old building with the estimate of what it will take to fund this building empty of $6,000. So we estimated at 10. So should we adjust this number?
It's all a crapshoot. I mean, we don't know if it's gonna be totally, if they're gonna be in there. We hope they're not in there in July, but if they're not moved into their building, they could still have stuff in there. They could still be partially in there, and,
I know it's a crapshoot, I understand, but, and,
I would agree that we don't know for sure that we're gonna be out
I mean, if you look at the partially occupied, you're at 18,500.
right, but the bottom line was
6,000.
Right, bottom
So,
line was
it's a-
6,000 empty. When we're going by July, this was going by July, so I'm just bringing it up.
yep, nope, that's
No,
fine.
it's fair.
Yep. I'm comfortable sticking with 10.
As am I.
Yeah, I'm just,
Yep,
I just had to get it noted.
yep, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. And
This is from July.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
Well, I'm not doing, because this revenue changes on the sheet we have in our book. the sheet that was in our packet is not correct. 'Cause this is,
She's gonna pass out tonight with the correct one. Everybody have it.
Hold it up, let's see which one it is.
it's the one that's in this packet.
Okay, good.
Yeah, okay.
All right. No, it's here, this one here. This, Anthony?
Yeah, the multi-page packet.
Okay, so it says, starting point on top in red,
Yes.
all right? Okay.
No, because they're,
No. Yeah, we gotta start all over. Sorry.
I caught the ones that
It's easier second time around.
we might get better numbers, I don't know. Or we can double deduct and get an even better mill rate.
All right.
Okay, so the last motion is for revenue changes, and it's in the fund balance. And it is, our budget originally had us using $800,000 from the fund balance to fund capital expenditures. And we just talked about this, what happened by doing that much, it brought our fund balance percentage down to 10.5%. And we have a policy that we will not go below 10%. And this is what helps us when we do financing of bonds and things like that. The council was not comfortable at being at such a low percentage. So we are not using the full $800,000 for capital expenditures. So the original proposal was 800. We are actually going to put money back into the fund balance so that percentage can go up. So this motion is to adjust for the revenue balance. It's out of Fund 1000, Department 4117, line 49700. It's for capital appropriation, and it's a reduction of $385,000.
Correct.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. All right,
There we go.
so that concludes any action on the general government side right now. And now we're gonna go to capital improvements projects. So in the packet that says starting point, the packet that we were just using, if we go to the next page after,
B and an A on it.
this is the revised capital plan. So, do we have to make motions, Anthony, to add things, or can we just make a motion to accept as?
You accept it as one lump sum. I mean, go individual items, please.
Okay. Okay, so there were two things that were added in here. One is the townwide maintenance fund, which we established a few years ago, where we put $50,000 in there, and then Franny uses that as repairs and maintenance is needed on town buildings. Currently, we have a balance left in this year of $16,000, and we are proposing to put in $10,000 from budget funds and $15,000 from the fund balance. The other item that we added is the additional cost of revaluation, which, guys, excuse me.
Sorry.
It's very hard to talk when someone else is talking. The other part of this revaluation is the other cost of the funding of this, which is $65,000. That is coming from budget funds. Police vehicles, we did the motion to put $95,000 in other funding, so that reduces budget funds for police vehicles to $31,500. Equipment reserve for the fire department was $325,000. That will now come out of fund balance instead of the budget funds. Extrication tools for the fire department originally was budgeted for LOSIP funds, and Anthony got a ruling from the state that that would not be an acceptable use of the money, so that is no longer being funded. The next item is battery-powered tools for the fire department of $15,000. And we are going to fund that out of ARPA money. Going down, equipment reserve for public works, $219,000, that will be funded out of budget funds. Public works smaller equipment, $25,000, will be funded from the fund balance. Pavement overlay of this originally was $200,000 out of budget funds. This will now be $50,000 out of fund balance and $45,000 out of LOSIP money. So that's a reduction of $105,000 from, or yes, a reduction of $105,000 from the original request. The next change is the replacement of the STW boiler. This originally was out of budget funds. This is now going to be out of ARPA funds for $12,000. Under Board of Ed, the Jerome Harrison HVAC system for the gym. This $140,000 was originally under budget funds. We are now going to fund this $50,000 out of ARPA funds, and we are going to reallocate the $90,000 that was given to them several years ago for paving. We are going to reallocate that to the HVAC system. And the paving for Jerome Harrison of $60,000 that was originally under budget funds. In talking to John Florio last week, he gave a presentation on the cost of paving for Stanley T. and Jerome Harrison School. The total of those two projects together is a little over $400,000. I did have a conversation with the superintendent of schools, talked to him about the paving project. He said we could put it off for 1 year, and we are going to do a phase-in project, a phase-in and do it over 3 years. And so we are going to commit, it's kind of like a lease payment, so $150,000 for the next 3 years to do both of the paving projects between TVS and Jerome Harrison. That will give them enough time to put it out to bid, divide the projects into phasing, and decide how they're going to do it. So that's why the superintendent was okay taking the $90,000 already allocated to them on paving and putting it towards the HVAC at Jerome. That was his top priority on their capital projects. So those are the changes that we have on our capital program. So we will end up using fund balance for $415,000 worth of project and budget funds for $325,500. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to say one thing. I requested that everybody sharpen their pencil, and they've done an excellent job.
Thank you. Yes, it was we had to become creative on our budgets, and department heads, thank you very much for really working with us on here. So, yes. So, any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, we will not be doing the Board of Education tonight due to the fact of the solar credits. And our budget is not complete yet because we still have solar credits on our side. But at least we got the bulk of this done. And we have to finalize the budget by next Tuesday. So later on in the budget, we'll have to amend the budget and do a new date to go on, to finish this. So that concludes budget work right now, and we will move on to reports of committees, boards, and commissions. First one is Economic Development. Okay. Parks and Recreation. I was not able to attend their last one. We were in budget workshops. Their next meeting is scheduled for next week, the 23rd. Police Commission.
Police Commission met on April 8th. Chief Lovelace reported that the Shoreline Computer Crimes Unit has been very active in this area, and he shared data with the commission. The commission, as the traffic authority, received a request, and I don't think this is the first time, from the State Department of Transportation to install a rumble strip on Route 139. The commission voted to reject that request, and if I remember correctly, it got rejected a couple years ago. There's a real concern there that the state is pushing that, but there are businesses close to the road and homes close to those.
It's 22 that got last time, but yes.
Yeah.
Route 22, yeah.
But they did, I know they came one other time for
139 as well.
And then I guess the highlight of the
I was on the point.
meeting was the swearing in of Police Chief Lovelace and our new Deputy Police Chief, Michael Pendleton. We're very proud to invite him.
Thank you. Fire Commission?
Fire Commission had their original meeting during one of our budget workshops. They moved it to a special meeting, which was April 11th. I was unable to attend, I was away. Anthony, is there anything on here? I did not get the meeting minutes yet, but I did get the agenda. I didn't see much on there for new business, just some unfinished business items. Anything you want to report on that?
No, you're good.
Okay, so I guess we'll report on our May meeting, any updates.
Exciting news, our new ambulance went in service today.
Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, Planning and Zoning.
Next meeting's Thursday, April 18th.
Okay. Finance Subcommittee, we did not meet this month. We had a lot going on with budget. So our next meeting is scheduled for in May, which would be May 14th. Public Safety Communications Subcommittee.
Oh, our report is that people are still waiting for Verizon to get going on those towers.
Okay.
Do we happen to know?
We don't have, evidently that's something going on between the tower company and Verizon. We're kind of out of that
So we have no jurisdiction over that.
No, that's
It's
not.
privatized land.
We have noticed, that's private.
It's been almost
It's been
a
while,
year
yeah.
when it was supposed to go
Unless
live.
the chief has any information,
No. Okay.
Okay. Inland Wetlands.
Inland Wetlands met on March 27th, and our town attorney was with us. The first thing that occurred was a discussion with the Regional Water Authority. Evidently, they do, and Victor can help me with this too, they do a routine bridge inspection, and during that inspection in town, they found an abandoned road north of the Northford Post Office, and when they did a study there in the river, they found a bridge that had collapsed into that river. I don't know where that is. It's some abandoned road. And Victor, maybe you can help me with that.
I believe it's on Water
I don't know whose property it's
Sean's
on.
property?
On the spot. So the bridge is on RWA property on the Farmington River, just north of the Northford Post Office. So it's there's actually two corrugated metal pipe culverts associated with it. And it's just an old access road that hasn't been used in years. The actual access road is pretty much unidentifiable based on the vegetation that's grown over it, and I guess the top structure of the bridge, the wood trestle portion has just collapsed into the river and actually causing a blockage. So it'll be a benefit to the floodplain there to clear that out.
And actually, that's not a regulated authority, therefore they have the right to do that, correct?
Right.
You meant the Farm River, right?
What did I say?
Farmington.
Farm River, sorry.
Okay, just making sure.
Gotcha.
So whose responsibility is to clear it? It's RWA.
So, right, RWA is planning on doing all the work, and I've coordinated with them from a floodplain management standpoint, just to make sure they have the appropriate application in for that. And as part of their project, I'm hoping to try to at least have them clear out some of the roadbed that access that bridge, and it would, again, improve the flood capacity of that portion of the Farm River.
And we won't get billed for that.
Under fishing and farming.
There's no billing to.
No, it's solely a RWA project. They've kind of, notified us just to let us know what's going on from, I think mainly from the floodplain standpoint.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you. And the other, a lot of time was spent discussing a water issue that's on private property, and at this point, the town really cannot get involved unless the owner of that property comes forth with an application as how he's going to use that property. I know it's an ongoing thing. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Blueprint Committee?
We met at the end of last week of March, and it was a light meeting. Many people weren't there, and we just conducted some mold business, cleaned up a few things, and our next meeting is scheduled next Thursday, April 25th.
Okay. And the Veterans Service Commission? I know they
met on the 9th, which of course we had one of our workshops, so I had intended to go, but I don't have any report on them, but I can provide reports in the future.
I know they're looking for an emblem, that they were looking at different design emblems to have.
They did, and they settled on one.
For their commission. And I know we did put money in the budget for the Veterans Service Commission also, so they do have some funding through the
Right.
town
$2,000, I think.
on there,
Right.
so. Okay, town managers report.
Well, I'd like to start by offering congratulations to Jim Lovelace. I was pleased to be on hand along with Mayor Angeloni, Councilor Diamond, Councilor Zampano, and Councilor Miller as he was officially sworn in as our police chief in the last police commission meeting. Jim has a long and distinguished career in law enforcement here in North Branford, and we wish him nothing but the best as he officially assumes this critical role. And I would also like to offer congratulations to our new Deputy Chief of Police, Michael Pendleton. The new Deputy Chief comes to us with a distinguished career with the Connecticut State Police and State's Attorney's Office, and we're looking forward to his bringing his extensive background and knowledge to this new role here in North Branford as we welcome him on our team. Jerome Harrison preschool students got a thrill today when the North Branford Public Works Department visited them and gave them a chance to learn about construction and then to get on some big equipment. Thanks to our team at Public Works, took the time to come out and spend time with these curious and smart preschoolers. Our annual Memorial Day Parade is at the end of next month, with Gina Cox and Kathy Poston taking the lead once again in organizing our Memorial Day Parade. Local veterans and Veterans Service Commission member Chuck Larkins will be the parade grand marshal this year. The parade, which will be held on the Northford side of town this year, members of the council who wish to march in this year's parade should just confirm with my office at their earliest convenience. Park and Recreation are hosting the return of Junk in Your Trunk Saturday, April 27th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Stanley T. Williams Community Center, where you can sell tag sale items from your vehicle. Cost is $10 per parking space, and bring your own table to display your goods. Register in advance at mbrecreation.com. We held a very successful free electronics recycling event last Saturday, April 13th at Public Works Facility at 290 Forest Road. Special thanks to the Solid Hazardous Waste and Recycling Committee and our Public Works Department for coordinating in conjunction with Take Two Electronics and Recycling. And this year we collected 9,192 pounds of electronics. Bulk pickup is currently going on this week, the day of your regular pickup. This includes tree limbs, tree branches, scrap wood, rugs, which all need to be less than 4 feet long and no thicker than 4 inches and need to be bundled and tied. couches, mattresses, box springs, picnic tables, and wooden furniture. No scrap vehicle parts, no home cleanouts. Hazardous Waste and Recycling Committee will be holding their annual Earth Day on Wall Field, as we heard from them earlier today. They're holding it ahead of Little League's opening day on April 20th. And this year, the committee is reaching out to businesses, nonprofits, hobbyists, and organizations that sell products and services that are eco-friendly. The committee will supply tables to participants so they can meet with residents while they walk the infield of displays. We've rescheduled the training event for members of elected and appointed town boards and commissions and their clerks for May 15th, 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers at Town Hall. Instruction will be on procedure, Robert's Rules of Order, Freedom of Information Act compliance, and the training will be conducted by Town Attorney Brian Leclerc and me, and members should RSVP to Gina in my office. We'll be holding more of these training events before the year is out to attempt to reach everyone who needs the training. This week from April 14th through the 20th is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Our dispatchers are the unsung heroes of our public safety response, and I hope residents will join us in recognizing their service to our residents this week. Dispatchers are on the front line of the front line and a critical first link in the chain of emergency response, so thank you to our dispatchers. Work on the Mansfield Drive Bridge has begun as part of our bridge maintenance program. Bridges on Tommy's Path, Auger Road, Tutucket Road, Mill Road, Circle Drive, and Harrison Road will be scheduled in the near future. And prepping has begun for the paving of Enterprise Drive and Upper Turnpike Road. Paving is scheduled to take place there in the first 2 weeks of May. And since I don't have Charlie the dog with me, I'm just going to include my report right there.
Okay. Permanent Project Building Committee?
The North Branford Intermediate School project during the April break, water leak was detected and investigated. It was determined that the new roof was not the cause of the leaks. The cause is the exterior panel siding, which was originally installed upside down. Oh, nice. QA&M and Barrett, the roofing company, were instructed to investigate further and advise of costs to correct and provide additional waterproofing. The project is on schedule for an end of August completion.
Oh, it just keeps on
Oh, yeah.
giving to us.
That's constant rewards on that one. North Branford High School, the storefront installation is 25% complete. Second floor drywall is 60% complete, and the tile and ACT ceilings are starting next week. Project is on schedule for the September 11th completion date. And North Branford Police Department EOC, the pavement binding has been installed and elevator delivery is scheduled this week. Interior finishes such as painting, ceiling grid, and flooring are ongoing. Handicap doors are being installed, and the project is on schedule for its completion date of June 13th. That concludes my report.
Mike, I have a question. Is there any way you could ask the Permanent Project Building Committee to give us an idea if there'll be any money left over from the high school project? Just an estimate of what they think might be left over.
I can see if
I know
we
it's
can,
not
yeah,
an exact number, but could we get an idea?
I can see what we can punch up on that, yeah.
It's a hard one to get, but.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, next item is citizen statements, petitions, and correspondence. Do we have anything?
No, it's not here tonight.
Okay. Resignation and appointments, there are none. Next item is unfinished business. Item A, all of these have been tabled. The creation of the 1831 committee, discussion and review of the blight ordinance in town center committee, they are all tabled, they were all tabled to our May meeting. So we're going to have to amend, I need a motion to amend the agenda to add item K, and that is to set a special meeting date to finalize the budget.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain?
I want to
Okay.
be opposed.
Okay. All right. Now on to new business. First item is application for ARPA nonprofit organization funding. So we have one new application on here, and that's from the Shoreline Chamber. And I know Dee could not make it tonight due to illness, and they didn't know if they could have, I don't think there's anyone here from the chamber.
No, I don't believe
Right.
so.
Okay. So The chamber has asked, the application is in our packet. They've asked for $5,000 in funding. This is the last application. Applications were closed as of April 1st. So we will have no more applications. We have 2 other ones pending that we heard from them at previous meetings. Water and Webb's Waterbird Rehabilitation and the North Branford Land Conservation Trust. So I just want to check with Anthony that we have 13,000 left in the fund. Okay.
In the nonprofit side.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve funding as follows? Water and Webb's Waterbird Rehabilitation Center, $1,500. North Branford Land Conservation Trust, $7,000. And the Shoreline Chamber of Commerce for $1,000.
Motion.
Second.
So the motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Abelson. Any discussion?
Yeah, so, can I speak?
You certainly can.
We set it up with Dr. Schoonmaker, with Scott, sorry, yeah, we promoted him. You can contact him, and he will set you up with somebody in one of the students to create a website for you. That's one. I have been trying to contact you, and cannot get through. Check.
The answering machine or no?
Well, it was full,
Got a message. Oh, okay.
so you need to clear your messages.
Okay.
But that's the best I can do for you. Like I said, Scott, more than happy to sit there and assist you. You just got to go and, make an appointment, and he knows of you, and he's ready for you. Okay?
So they're gonna bring in someone like a student that's gonna help with it as well? That's
He's
great.
gonna set him up with a student, and he's gonna build the website for you.
I think that's thank you for putting some effort into getting it coordinated. I think that's great for both your organization as well as it's for one of our young students to get some experience on their resume, great for college applications. And half of these kids can build websites better than any one of us in the room. It's amazing what they're able to do.
Would that website have somewhere a page where people can donate?
You have to sit there, that's between you and the person who's building it, and you have to explain to them exactly what you want, and they'll do it for you.
Yeah, a lot of times these things are templated already. So what they'll likely do, and I'm coming from a very novice point of view, but I know a little bit about it. Anything like these, let's just take for instance GoDaddy. Not that you're going to utilize that service, but GoDaddy will have a templated service where a lot of that functionality, when you purchase the website name and you purchase, the hosting, they'll have these templates that already have that functionality. You choose the package, and most of it will suffice exactly what you're looking for. So I would suggest going to and setting up an appointment with Mr. Schoonmaker and coming up with a team for you, Dr. Schoonmaker.
What's the reason you're not going to fund the Mosaic?
There's only a limited amount. I don't want to speak, if you don't mind me speaking for the board, there's a limited amount of assets through ARPA, and we're trying to make sure that many others are also getting, no one's gotten fully funded due to the fact that there's only a limited amount of assets to offer. So we want to make sure that we're reaching the most organizations and helping them where we can.
Okay, because that one, you literally buy it, and as far as I know, the other websites, you have to pay every month or every year or whatever. This is only one time you own it. And
Well, you probably
pay
own the
$100.
site. Someone still has to host it though.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's
I
always
really
gonna be a
do
hosting
recommend-
cost, but I think that's probably appropriate to have a conversation with those folks and see,
Yes.
you know, what the best way to go about it is. It's a great, you know, great resource for your organization. We're excited to see what you do with it. And let us know, you know, if there's other areas where we can help promote that in the future. But I'm excited to see what happens with it. And it's gonna be a great coupling between our students and talent that they have and your organization. So thank you for bringing it to our attention.
And the students that, from what Scott has said, the student, whoever it is well-versed in building websites. That he promised me. So you feel comfortable when you go to talk to him, and he sets you up with them, right? And it's a, what are we, 17, 18-year-old? They run rings around us. So go do it, and you'll be surprised.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. So there's still there's a little bit of money left in the fund, and since there's no more applications, we can go back to the other applications that have come in. They don't have to present again. On all the King's Horses, which was the first application that we received, her application was for $6,300, and we funded $5,000 originally on there. So do I hear a motion to fund all the King's Horses for an additional $1,300?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I just think it's this, as you said, this was the first. So they, to be the first is good and sometimes bad because, you know, we had to be conservative, but this will finish what they needed to do with that particular truckload of hay, feed. So we thank them for bringing that application as well, and we look forward to seeing how that develops for them.
Okay.
So that's the end of ARPA, right?
That's the
Well,
end
it'll be for the nonprofits after we finish this. So the motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. And the last amount of money that's left in the ARPA nonprofit fund is for $2,200. Do I hear a motion to award this to the North Branford Food Pantry?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
I just bring up that, and I bring this up anytime we bring up the food pantry. I think sometimes people forget that North Branford, there are people that are still food insecure and how important this service is. So one, thank you for doing what you're doing, the folks at the food pantry. Two, this is going to a fantastic organization. Three, let's all try to pitch in as citizens and remember that we can donate, we can donate our time. It's a great cause, so you know, reach out to the folks there and see where we can help out. But I just want to put my 2 cents in there. We're excited to be able to add some extra dollars to that.
They have bins of Big Y. They have bins in the front.
Yep,
You can
true.
donate right in Big Y.
It's true too.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? So that now depletes our ARPA nonprofit funding. We have given it all out on there. So those that are here tonight, that just received funding tonight, the finance department needs a W-9 form from you filled out, and you can submit that, and they will cut the checks, correct, Anthony?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you get that to the finance director, they will cut the checks for you. We will have check presentations on all of these, plus the ones that we approved at our last meeting, at our next meeting in May.
Do we have and I apologize if I'm stepping out of bounds and asking this, but Anthony or Rose, is there a time frame where someone has to, you know, you have to make this move in order to get the check or it gets forfeited? Because there's going to be a period of time that.
There wasn't anything in our application that said that.
Maybe that's something we update, because the ARPA funds have to be spent at a certain period of time, so we want to make sure that we have
We're
some.
paying them as they give us the documentation.
Well, it's not necessarily that, I meant more as if they drag their feet to go.
No, they, well,
don't
once we
monitor it after
allocate it to them, we're done.
Yeah, we're not monitoring
We-
it after
they don't-
this.
Okay.
If it takes them 2 years to spend it, it doesn't matter. They
Well,
don't,
not spend it, receive it, I meant. Right.
but they'll have it received.
I mean, the requirements that are on us to expend it will have been met by
Right.
us giving them the check. So
Okay.
even if they held on to it for 2 years for hypothetically, that wouldn't be in violation. That wouldn't.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you.
So, thank you. All right. On to the next item is approval of fair housing resolution. So, there's something in our packet.
I'll make a motion
Second.
to adopt the Town of North Branford Fair Housing Resolution presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Abelson. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay. Next item is additional ARPA funding. So there's 2 items. Anthony, do you want us to put on here the ones that we
Well, we
approved
basically did that on capital.
when we did the capital,
Yeah.
so we don't have to do it? Okay, that's fine with me, as long as you're covered. Okay, so additional ARPA funding. So the first one is fire department suits, which there is something in our packet at our table. I believe it's just,
I'll read that.
the quote. So this covers, the cut that we made in the budget from technical supplies from the fire department. Their original budget was $65,000, and the big item they were buying out of that was, replacement of fire suits. And they had 10 to 12 to replace this year, and so, Anthony got us a quote. We did $35,000, so whatever they can buy for $35,000.
So this quote just indicates one complete suit, correct?
right.
Okay,
Correct.
that's where I was confused, we all in the one. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make the motion, is there a stipulated motion or?
No.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to award ARPA funds to cover the cost of the fire department
Was for
for
$35,000.
$35,000 for equipment in the form of suits, pants, and coat and jackets, coats.
Okay. Motion has been made by Deputy, a second.
Second.
Second by Counselor Palladino. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. And the second one is Public Works fencing. So that's in our packet. It's on page 65 of our packet. Yes. So I don't know, either Danny or Franny, if you just wanna just give a little update as to what this is.
Yeah, this fencing is really for the Pawtucket Park. You know where the softball field is? We're gonna be taking that 6-foot fence down and we're putting the newer fence that we have in the area down, kind of down 10 feet off of our driveway,
Okay.
going in.
So it'll match the other side on the that type of fence?
I'm actually gonna put one all the way down 22 to the farmhouse also.
That's great.
Using the money from our other project there. Because of the driveway.
Okay.
The whole, most of the front of that whole property will be dressed up.
Versus the Jersey barrier concrete blocks, okay, that's good. All right, I'll make a motion to award, Public Works fencing, ARPA monies in the amount of $18,675.00 for the use of Pawtucket Park, fencing, through Guilford Fence Works.
A second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Miller. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
And I just asked Anthony, is there any money left now in the ARPA fund?
21,321.
21,321?
Yes.
Okay,
21,321, is that?
yeah.
So, can we discuss this for the $21,000?
Sure.
Well,
Nobody wants your dog.
Looking at me?
huh?
Are you looking at me?
No,
Oh, you went like this. I thought you were talking to me.
we're talking to Marie.
Oh.
Just to me. I asked a question about the request from the superintendent for some ARPA funding for the storage building that he wanted to put on the field. And
We do understand that it's in his budget, and he needs to take it out.
I was told that it was originally in the budget, in their capital budget.
It is.
Yep.
Correct?
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
yes, it appeared in,
And then I was also told that the Board of Ed had not voted on that, and it had come directly from the superintendent. The Board of Ed had voted to put it into the budget. I then had a discussion with Rose about that, and one of the things that she suggested, and that's why I asked Mike if there was any money left. Did they think there might be some money left in the high school project? I think that if we're having a new building, and we have this junky old, whatever you call it, thing
Dumpster.
where they store that equipment now, that if we can, this would be the time to do it. And I asked if we could do it through ARPA funds. Obviously, there's not enough left in the
Well, no.
ARPA funds, but I'd like to make a pitch for that, and hopefully that might be something we could do if there are leftover funds in high school.
Is this something that they're still thinking about utilizing the students in industrial arts to construct?
Yes, they were gonna use the students to build it, but they need money obviously for the materials, and I think originally it was 90,000, and I just saw a different number somewhere.
it was 95, it went to 80, and now it's back to 95, so not really sure what
What's
the
the cost of
number.
the materials?
I really don't know what the number is, because it keeps moving.
So, can we, for the $21,300, can we do that for the students for the high school?
It's not
For the
enough for the
school?
project.
It's not enough.
But to give them something to start the project.
Well, how are they gonna finish it, though?
They'll have to figure it out.
Well,
to
no,
start.
we can't, you
It's just like it's just like the money that we've given away to fund some of these nonprofits. You know, not all the money that they have is to pay for whatever project they want to do. And they're gonna have to figure out to take the money and figure out on where to get the other money. I know that Board of Education is tight. It's only, it's $21,300.
Well,
And it
my
would be going
suggestion would
to
be
the
to
students
have
of North Branford.
well, but we
It's
have,
going to the
yeah, but we
students
have
of
no
North
information in regards to it.
Has they provided any type
No.
of plans or anything like that? Because it is important to see if there has been some fluctuation. I'm not against having this building constructed, and I think if the students could do it, it's both worthy as the end result of all the
Maybe they can
experience.
go and they can raise the money or whatever, but I think it would be a start for them. And it's $21,300 that's left. And
I think we need more information from
Well,
them.
I think we should mention to the superintendent, you should ask the board to put it on the next agenda, so they could
Yeah.
more information.
It'd be nice to know where it comes from, that number comes from. Again, I'm not against it, so I don't want it to come off as if I'm, shouting against it, but where's this 80,000 or 95,000 come from?
Jeff, I have no idea.
Well, that's what we need to know.
I didn't see the project. I have
No one
no
has.
idea. No one has seen the project.
That's what we need to know.
And we have no idea, but it's what's left in the ARPA funding, and I think that it should go to the students of North Branford.
I would be all for that, but we
For
need to have a
that
plan.
particular project. Like I said, it's a start. If they wanna go and fundraise for the rest of the money, for whatever it's gonna be, if it's, they need another $70,000, hey, I have no idea where they're gonna come up with the money. Absolutely not, but it is a start.
I think we need something conceptual in order to look at it.
I would suggest that we ask the superintendent, to put it on the next agenda for the board of ed, so they can be more specific for us, and maybe show us a plan.
Right, because it's a very,
Great idea.
very tight budget this year, and they may not have the additional funding within their budget to fund
I'm not
the
saying that they're
additional
gonna
monies
take
to make it work. So what will we do with the 20,000? Because the 20,000, you know, it's, what are you gonna have,
Like I said,
a frame?
It's a start for funding.
Why don't we don't have to spend the 21,000 tonight, right?
No,
So why
no.
can't we just?
Right,
We don't have to do anything tonight, right?
right.
Yeah.
And like, to your question before, Marie, maybe we'll find out there might be some money left over from the high school of the $80 million.
That's why I asked.
Hopefully, there might be a little bit of some crumbs left over, you know?
Yeah, it'd be nice to focus.
Right, that's why
I think we all have our thoughts on, if there is some money left over, that area of the building to be looked at, that, possibly a field, you know, to have AstroTurf or a turf field in there, so that whole area.
Take all the crumbs, I'll tell you that.
Okay, so we are going to move on to item D, taxpayer refund approval process.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to ask our tax collector, Jerry Wynn, to come up, and Finance Director Anthony Esposito. They have a plan on potentially speeding up the tax refund process.
After the last meeting, I think it was Councilor Zampano
Guys?
had requested information about the tax rebate process, and so I went back to the tax collector, Jerry Winnick, and she did some research on other towns, how they handle it, and she has some discussion points and possibly a change like to enact to expedite the process.
Yeah, because I know it takes some taxpayers, it takes them like 2 months, sometimes longer to get their refunds back, because it comes here first, by the time they send everything. So I think a lot of this was in the packet that you guys had gotten. So I did a little research on some of the towns, and it's where the council approves somebody like the town manager or the finance or the finance director to sign off on any refunds that are under a certain amount. So my thought was 5,000 because half is probably around $4,000 on an average for somebody's home. That's an average. So if somebody ends up paying twice because they're refinancing, they buy a house, the attorney pays it, then they pay it, so you end up with an extra payment. So to refund it, now it could take 2 to 3 months before they get their money back. Because they have to sign a form, they have to send it back. We have to get everything together, we have to check it, make sure nothing else has been done to the account. We get it ready, we send it off, and then we send it to you guys a month later. So it could be a couple months before, and then we have to process everything into Munis to request a refund.
Munis works great.
Hmm?
No, yeah, same thing, going to Munis.
So it does take quite a while. So if we can speed it up, the form was actually, these are samples on this here. So anything, say, under $5,000 would be approved, and we can do it more than once or twice a month. Get those done, get those out of the way, get them checks requested. And on every single one, it would actually be instead of you signing the form itself, you would sign a spreadsheet, and the forms would be behind it. So that would be the documentation behind it. So this would say, and on every single one, it would say action taken by governing body. So this would actually be on every single one, even years down the road, to say on this day it was approved that anything under, say, $5,000 is approved by town manager or finance director and/or.
So other towns are doing this?
Yes, there actually, I have samples of like 4 of them. One of them does anything under 10,000. One does anything under 2. Some do under 1,000.
What's the negatives, just to play devil's advocate, what's the negative side of it? What can come undone by doing it this way? Like, could something be missed, or, I'm just trying to get an understanding of it.
No, because it would actually be better, because we do have a lot of people that call and say, where's my refund?
Yeah, of course.
I suppose, is there a risk that you give a refund that's not due, I guess?
No, we actually check them.
Okay.
They're checked like 3 or 4 times before they're even sent to be approved here.
Okay.
Then they're checked again before they're even put in for a check request to make sure that it wasn't transferred to another account or if something else had happened and, you know, they bounce a check or anything, because sometimes it can take a while to get a bounce check back too. So this is something we keep checking, and it's checked all the time. So this would be something like, say, on the first of every month, we say, okay, we have 10 of them under 5,000, we get them ready, and within a couple weeks, we can get them ready to go without your approval. So, but it has to be up to you to make that decision to see if, to have somebody else.
I just think
sign off on it.
5,000 is too high.
Yeah. What I don't
would-
recall is, I don't recall the tax refunds coming in for thousands of dollars. It's always, the
Well,
list
this-
at least I know, always notice, or at least I think I notice, is like 500, 600, 400.
This sample here, there's one for over $5,600. I have another one
Yeah.
for 5. We've had some that are even higher than that. The reason I went with 5, I mean, even if we went 4, on an average, we have about 5,473 accounts. That includes businesses and residential. And half is around $3,700 for half of your property.
For real estate taxes.
Correct. And that's actually about almost 5,000 of them is under $5,000 for half. The full amount is like 7,300.
Well, we could pick any number we want, really.
Right,
If we
they're-
wanted to
they're-
try
the-
it.
Yeah.
Streamline it, it would streamline.
You know, even if you went to 3 or 35, it was just a figure I just
To make it.
put out
There was
there.
only one town at 10,000, the rest were 2,000 or less.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah.
I would be.
I have to check like 4 or 5. I didn't go.
2,500, if you look at the ones that are on tonight's agenda, that would cover all of them, because the highest one is 2437.
Right.
And most of the other ones, like you said, are a
Yeah.
couple dollars, a couple
Yeah.
hundred.
Yeah, cut it in half.
Yeah.
25 makes
Yeah,
sense to me.
right. If we could streamline a lot of this, it's a
Why
good
not?
idea, as long as
Right.
we have a control.
Right.
Yeah, this way, it's like, and if it was something that is over that certain amount, of course, it comes to you to be signed off on. It's not,
I'm comfortable with 25 myself.
Yeah. So I'm reading the motion and it says, you know, adopts the attached refund approval process, but there is no dollar amount in here, so
We'd
when we
add
make
that to the motion.
You would just have to make that because it doesn't, there is no dollar amount in here. So,
I'm happy to make that motion.
okay,
All right, be it hereby resolved that North Branford Town Council, on today's meeting, what is it, the 15th of April, adopts at a dollar amount of $2,500, the attached refund approval process for the tax office.
is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Palladino. Any further discussion?
Did you say the 15th or the 16th?
Today's-
16th.
Okay.
today's the
I thought I heard 15.
Could have said that, I don't know.
thank you.
Rose, can I ask a
Did I?
quick question?
Yep.
If it, since we're, tell me if I can ask this question, since we're talking about taxes and refunds and everything. We haven't talked about it in a while, but the delinquent taxes, remember there was a bunch of properties that we had asked Brian to go after, and
Yeah.
we haven't heard or talked about that in a while. It's kind of just been lost. I was wondering where we are with all those.
We met with the tax collector and the finance director several months ago. We sent out demand letters, and we've instituted tax foreclosure actions against a number of taxpayers, some of whom have already come in and made payments, or we're trying to get on payment plans. So we're being aggressive with that.
Good.
Thank you.
I can give you a full report if you need. I just don't have it in front of me, the number of cases, but
At the next meeting?
yeah, if you would, sure.
Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
That's good.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, financial report.
Financial report for March 31, comparative to March of last year. The trend continues where we are exceeding revenue 90.9% of budget current year, compared to 88.2% last year, and also positive on the expense side of the house. We only spent 71.3% compared to 75.0% last year at this time. And the largest over expenditure remains the emergency management for the situation with the MBIS generator. Aside from that, the report's unremarkable.
Okay. Next is appropriation transfers.
You have 3 transfers in front of you, one from the police department, one from the public works department, and one from the library department. This is the format we're going to put them in now. It's a little easier to read, more of a vertical format versus that landscape format. If there's any questions, those departments are here tonight if you had any questions specific to their transfer.
We're doing them in a single motion?
We can? Yeah, they're, it's on page 73 of our packet, and they're just all listed there, so.
Resolved that the North Branford Town Council hereby approves the following appropriation transfers as recommended by the town manager and the treasurer and finance director as stated.
Second motion.
Okay. Are there any questions for anyone? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay. Contingency transfers.
This is an interesting one.
Yes.
Back in 2003, when the state was widening Route 80, the question was sidewalks, no sidewalks. We agreed to put sidewalks from Commerce Drive basically over to Company One Firehouse. So there's a town sidewalks. The bill.
It's an extensive route.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. The bill came in, and at the time, Kurt Weiss had approached the state and said, we don't have anything budgeted this year. Could we hold off, send us a bill next fiscal year, which would have been 2004-05. They said, okay. We never saw a bill. So suddenly, about 3 months ago, a girl calls up and says to Victor, our lovely town engineer, that there's a $17,000 bill that you owe us for Ready sidewalks. I'm like, okay, well, they're probably broken by now. It's been 20 years and such. So in discussing it, obviously the agreement was signed by the town at that time that we were on the hook for our piece of the sidewalk project. So there's no denying that we owe the bill. So in talking with the manager, it was cleanest just to take it out of contingency and put this to bed.
Question for either you or for town attorney. Is there like any type of time frame that we're subject to that we can, is there a statute of limitation of this bill? I mean, it's 20 years later.
The bill is from the state of Connecticut?
Correct.
I want to get them mad.
So you have your 6-year statute of limitations on contracts. That said, I'm sure you're looking for more money from the state of Connecticut, which could prove to be problematic if you stiff them on. I have a feeling. If they were a vendor you were never going to deal with again, perhaps.
Yeah. We don't want to.
Got to pick your fights.
Unless you tell them you don't have the money this year and another 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Tell them we want the money this year.
We want to go on a 20-year plan.
So we're going to skip that $1 million we were going to give you.
Yeah.
Use the ARPA money now. Found to use your ARPA money maybe.
Okay. So,
I think we're stuck paying.
yes.
That's ironic. Yeah, you can get on that dumpster fire.
Resolved that the town manager hereby authorized to appropriate from reserve for contingency account 1,000, et cetera, in the amount of $17,135.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion has been made by Counselor Diamond, second by Counselor Abelson. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. So if you just look on this was a note due to our budget when we did before. So contingency, we start out at $175,000. If you notice, we had 2 huge items, $60,000 and $25,000, which are, the $60,000's already covered in our contract negotiations, and the $25,000 that we paid. And now this 17, these 2 are like anomalies that we would pay out of here. So I think reducing our contingency amount was the right thing to do. And we just have to be very prudent in what we decide or what is going to come forward on contingency. And if it's not budgeted, we have to really, department heads, town manager, whatever, you really have to think twice because we've reduced that amount and we need to become very fiscally responsible looking at that moving forward on there, instead of having a large amount and being able to fall back on it. Okay, approval of tax refunds.
Tom's thing.
You don't want to approve anybody's tax refund, do you?
No.
You're bad.
We need the dough.
I know.
Do I hear a motion to approve the tax refunds?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Counselor Zampano, second by Counselor Abelson. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay, motion passes. We can't do I and we can't do J, those are tabled. So the next one is, we need to set a date for our special meeting, and it can be no later than next Tuesday, the 23rd.
Are we meeting tomorrow night?
Do we have a meeting tomorrow? I don't know if Anthony has to have time to make sure he goes through all the credits and the information is correct, because it has a major impact on the budget.
We have to be here tomorrow night. Anthony can get through it, right? He works through the night.
We want to give it an extra day or two?
Well,
I've got training tomorrow and Thursday.
Eunice training?
Finance training.
okay, so then we just stick with next Tuesday, the 23rd, for 6:30 on there. So do I hear a motion to set a special meeting for April 23rd at 6:30 Town Hall?
So moved.
Keep it rolling.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next item is citizen statements and petitions. Do we have any citizen statements or petitions? None? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.